What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we need to talk about Blue doing very, very well in the One Piece trading card game. I've shown you that over in Japan, as it stands at the moment, the big deck is Red Rush, often, but not always, built around that Roanoa Zoro leader. Red Rush is just the best deck right now, and there really isn't a huge amount of competition in that regard. I'm not saying other decks can't win, I'm saying that red is clearly the best. But then again, I showed you just the other day a green deck based around the starter deck Eustace Kid, went and won the Fukuoka preliminaries over in Japan, and that was a big thing. Well, now we've got the winner of the Aichi preliminaries, and it is actually a blue deck built around Ivankov. Now, I'm kind of delighted about this. And the reason is super simple. This is a deck that I've been following since the release of OPO2, and I've seen a lot of discussion about blue Emporio Ivankov decks being good, but they haven't actually ended up proving to be good enough yet. I've been hoping that one of these will go and win one of the preliminaries, and it has, so now we can go and have a little bit of a chat. Although I should mention, unlike the green deck I showed you the other day, which is almost entirely legal in our format at the moment, there is a lot of OPO2 in this deck. You are going to have to wait for OPO2 to drop. Although, might be worth trying to pick up some box toppers from OPO1 from Romance Dawn. So we've got Emporio Ivankov here, the leader, mono blue, 5,000 power, 5 life, all fairly standard. End of your turn, if you have 0 cards in hand, draw 2 cards. You don't want to end the turn with 1 card in hand, you want to play out your entire hand, draw 2 at the end of the turn. You get to cycle through your deck, draw lots of cards quickly. That sounds pretty gosh darn good to me. Alrighty then. So what kind of things are we playing with in this deck? Well, we've got the 1-cost Perona, which was a box topper promo for Romance Dawn, so this is one you might want to go and pick up soon if you're thinking of playing this deck in the future. 1 cost, 2,000 power, counter plus 1,000. When you play, look at the top 5 cards of your deck and place them at the top or bottom of your deck in any order. You're basically stacking your deck so you know what you're getting as you go. It's a 1-cost card with a play skill, and you're going to be able to potentially do this, you know, for several turns in a row at times. That is a very, very good thing indeed. Now, we've also got ourselves a 1-cost clown coming in here. We've got the Buggy from OPO2, 1 cost, 2,000 power. On play, look at the top 5 cards of your deck. Reveal up to 1 blue Impel Down type card other than Buggy and add it to your hand. Place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. So we've already seen we're rearranging, and now we're going to have a little bit of searching as well. This is good, ladies and gentlemen. This is very, very good. Now, that's all we got in terms of 1-cost cards, but we do have the 2-cost Alvida. Assume that they are play sets unless I tell you otherwise. Now, what we got here is a 2-cost 3,000 power counter plus 2,000. Again, we are talking about a box topper promo here, so maybe if you want these, pick them up before OPO2 releases, and this gets a little bit silly. Although maybe wait for the reprint of Romance Dawn, because right now all the prices are ridiculous. And what we've got here is Dawn X1. When attacking, you may trash a card from your hand, return up to one of your opponent's characters of a cost of 3 or less to its owner's hand. And you got a bunch of stuff going on here. Obviously, counter plus 2,000 is really good. And returning one of your opponent's characters for a cost of 3 or less is good. Could well be a blocker that's then not allowed to block. But also, you get to trash a card from your hand. Bearing in mind, if you have no cards in your hand, your leader lets you draw cards. And the only reason to play this leader is to draw cards at the end of your turn with a 0-card hand. Otherwise, there are other blue leaders that will be better. So yes, you want to empty out your hand. If you're not emptying out your hand regularly, you need to play a different blue leader. Simple as that. So yeah, having a trash from your hand when you attack, that is a very, very good thing. Now, we've also got ourselves here a bunch of 3-cost cards, including the 3-cost Don Quixote do Flamingo from OPO1. Now, 3-cost 4,000 power counter plus 1,000, but it's blocker. We need blockers. Blockers are good. This is a blocker. Go team. But on play, look at 5 cards on the top of your deck and place them at the top or bottom of your deck in any order, which you might think sounds very, very familiar to what we saw with Perona. And it is. It's literally the exact same skill. But now it's on a more powerful card that's also got blocker. And what you're doing here is you're basically able to rearrange your deck a lot. 4 of these, 4 of the other one. This is good. It's going to reward good players who are able to look a few turns ahead and have themselves a bit of fun. Now, moving into 4-cost cards, we got ourselves Dracul Mihawk from the starter deck. 4-cost, 5,000 power, counter plus 2,000. And we've already seen, you need some counter plus 2,000 if you can possibly get them. But also, Don X1, when attacking, draw 2 cards, trash 2 cards from your hand. Now, you're not getting a card advantage here, nor are you lowering your hand size. What you're actually doing is cycling cards. Draw 2, trash 2. But it means you can trash cards you don't want, draw cards you do want, and of course, if there are cards in your hand that you're not going to be able to get rid of, in order to activate your leader's skill, this will let you trash them. Also, very crucially, you draw 2 and trash 2, so you're not going to trash and then draw cards you can't get rid of because you draw first. That is a very, very good thing. Fits this deck very nicely indeed. Now, Inazuma comes in as a 4-cost, 5,000 power, counter plus 1,000. If you've got 1 or fewer cards in your hand, you gain 2,000 power. I've told you a lot, that's what you're trying to do. So now it's a 4-cost, 7,000 power. Bearing in mind the vanilla card to be 4-cost, 6,000. So 4-cost, 7,000 is good. And you've got blocker. That's a very, very good thing indeed. Now, in other 4-cost cards here, we got ourselves a couple other ones coming around in OPO2. Like I've said, unfortunately, there are a bunch of them, including Mr. Free Galdino. 4-cost, 5,000 power, counter plus 1,000, and you've got blocker. Also, at the end of your turn, you may trash a card from your hand to set this card as active, and in this particular deck especially, I love everything about this card. Having an extra blocker, very, very nice thing. Bearing in mind, I also said that we had a blocker with Don Quixote do Flamingo. And I also told you that we had a blocker with Inazuma. So we are building up a very nice amount of blockers here. But also, trashing a card from your hand is a very good thing. Because essentially, end of your turn, if you've got 1 card in hand, you trash it. Now you've got 0 cards in hand. Now Emporio Ivankov gets to draw 2. That's awesome. But you also get to set as active. So essentially you attack on your turn. And you're rested. But then at the end of your turn, you trash a card from your hand. And you set this card as active. And then you can block on your opponent's turn. And then you'll activate and round we go. So you can essentially do that beautiful thing where you can attack on your turn. And also block on your opponent's turn. This is great. Now, we also have ourselves another card from OPO2 here. It is Crocodile. 5-cost, 7,000 power, counter plus 1,000. It's a vanilla card. There are no skills. This is just a vanilla card. Important to note, it is an Impel down card, however. So the skills we've seen that can search for it absolutely will work here. Frankly, ladies and gentlemen, that's a pretty big deal. We saw that Buggy lets you search for it. And you can do that one here as well. Nothing that special, decently powerful, easily searched. That's a good thing. Now, we've also got ourselves Mr. 2 Bon Clay Bentham. 5-cost, 5,000 power, counter plus 2,000. Again, that's a third counter plus 2,000 we've seen. That's a good thing. And what you've got here is Don X1. When attacking, you may trash a card from your hand. Return up to 1 character of a cost of 2 or less to the bottom of its owner's deck. And then when the battle ends, return this character to the bottom of its owner's deck. So you trash a card from your hand and get rid of a character. That could be one of yours you want to reuse later. It could be one of your opponents. Probably one of your opponents a lot of the time. But the point is, you do that while also trashing a card from your hand. And you got counter plus 2,000. Lots of cool stuff going on. Now, moving into 6-cost, we're going to find one of my favourite things about the deck, because you get to play the Akira Igawa alternate arts, because we've got Luffy. I've made no secret on this channel of my love for the alternate arts drawn by Akira Igawa. A lot of you are going to recognise that we've got the Roanoa Zoro with Rush that was in Romance Dawn. That's Igawa. But we've got another couple here, and I love the idea of being able to play all of them in one deck. other than the Roanoa Zorro, of course. Now, what we've got from this particular Luffy card, although to be fair, if they're playable, it means they're going to be harder for me to get, but I'll get them at some point. 6 cost, 7,000 power, and when you play and when you attack, you can trash 2 cards from your hand, return up to 1 character of a cost of 4 or less to its owner's hand, and then you gain double attack. Have you noticed there are a bunch of cards in this deck that are returning cards to its owner's hand or deck? Now here it is to the hand, and you can return your own character to reuse one of your skills, which is cool, but also you can return one of your opponents. We've got a bunch of skills like that. You can kind of board wipe your opponent quite nicely of low cost characters, and that is beautiful. Plus double attack. For the record, double attack isn't really double attack, it's double damage. It's 1 attack, but if it goes through, you deal 2 damage, not 1. I've never loved the phrase double attack to describe that. There's got to be a better... I mean, even double damage, although it sounds weird, would be better, because double attack implies 2 attacks, and it's not 2 attacks, it's 1 attack, which for blocking, etc., makes a really big deal. Either way, getting rid of one of your opponent's characters and getting double attack? Yes. That sounds pretty good to me. Now, we've also got the 7 cost Emporio Ivankov here to go with the leader. 7,000 power on play. Draw cards until you have 3 cards in your hand. Then play up to 1 blue Impel Down type character card with a cost of 6 or less from your hand. Oh, look. Remember that vanilla crocodile I showed you a minute ago? And how it's vanilla and not that exciting? Incidentally, all true. But the difference here is it can be played for free. So you got Emporio Ivankov, you play it down to the 7 cost, draw until you got 3 cards in hand, and then play this 7,000 power character for free. Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, this seems like a pretty good deal. Nowadays, we've only got a few starter decks and 2 sets, but still, there is enough that you're only really playing vanilla cards at this stage if you've got a really specific reason to play vanilla cards, and we've seen a couple to play this one. And then we've got Dracul Mihawk. Now, this is the super rare from Romance Dawn, and it's called Akira Igawa artwork as the alternate art as well, which I think you've learned at this point, hopefully, makes me pretty happy. 9 cost, 9,000 power. But on play, place up to 1 character of a cost of 7 or less at the bottom of the owner's deck. Can be one of yours, but this is more just board wiping. Now you're getting rid of a 7 cost or less. We have seen a bunch. We saw Monkey do it. We saw a bunch of others do it. And that was really just an excuse to get both the Akira Igawa artworks on screen at once. Basically, it's more board control. It's more getting rid of your opponent's characters. And it's the most powerful character in the deck. So it's going to get some attacks through as well. Now, in terms of event cards, we've actually only got 1. We have got the 2 cost card, Arabesque Brick Fist. 2 cost, and as a main, return up to 1 character of a cost of 4 or less to its owner's hand. Look, we've seen that. This is what this deck does. And as a trigger, it activates this card's main effect. Does the same thing. And hey, we haven't got any other triggers in the deck, so this works pretty nicely indeed. And we've actually got a stage. A lot of One Piece decks don't play stages. This one does, but it's only as a 2 of. I should mention, because I haven't actually said it yet, the event was as a 2 of, the Vanilla Croc was a 3 of, and the Dracul Mihawk, the 9 cost, was also a 3 of. There we go, now we're up to speed. And what we've got here is a 1 cost stage, activate main. You may rest this stage. If your leader is Emporio Ivankov, which you know it is, draw 1, trash a card from your hand, and then trash up to 3 cards from your hand. So you have to draw 1, you have to trash 1, and then you can trash an extra 3. Oh. So basically, not only are you drawing 2 cards if you've got no cards in hand with Emporio Ivankov at the end of your turn, but you've actually got a stage which is going to all but guarantee you get that. Yes. And bearing in mind, we saw a lot of lower cost cards that help you to manipulate your deck and make it more likely you're going to be drawing into these kind of things. This is all good, ladies and gentlemen. This is all good. Here's the deck list as a whole. I like it. I'm probably not going to end up playing it as much as I love the Igawa artwork. It's not my kind of deck. But you can see how this deck works and why it does so well. You're drawing a lot of cards, you're cycling through your deck, you're getting rid of your opponent's characters, and you got a whole bunch of blockers as well. And this, to me, ladies and gentlemen, is starting to sound very nice indeed. But I want to know what you think. So let me know in the comment section, would you? Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wasi. That's where we talk about One Piece and a bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join a Discord and chat with us, all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wasi Plays.